Hello, Condors. Today you'll be learning about Curie Way expectations and protocols with me, one of your assistant principals, Dr. Shanovich. Curie High School, or at Curie High School, the Curie Way is being responsible, respectful, open minded, kind, hardworking, and determined. The Curie Way is how we expect all students, staff, and community members to engage with one another. If everyone lives by these core values while at Curie, we will all be able to learn in an environment that feels safe and welcoming. Today, I'll be reviewing the different teams and policies in place to support you while you're here at school to ensure that you feel safe and welcome. I'll also be answering some frequently asked questions. The first team I want to introduce you to is the senior leadership team. This consists of Dr. Penuelas, Curie's principal, and the 5 assistant principals, Dr. Laurel, Ms. Gonzalez, Ms. Vasquez-Dorner, Mr. Kamisi-Kavich, and myself, Dr. Shanovich. While each member of our team is here to help any community member, we each serve very specific roles and support specific departments in the building. Those roles are listed on this slide. So for example, I support the 9th grade, special education, and climate and culture. Most of our offices are on the first floor inside the main office. However, Mr. Kamisi-Kavich's office is on the 3rd floor and Ms. Gonzalez's office is on the 2nd floor. But you can always find us at entry doors when you arrive or walking around the building throughout the day. Please don't hesitate to say hello or ask us any question that you might have when you see us. The next team I want to introduce you to is our culture and climate team. On the very top row is Miss Lamort. She is our culture and climate coordinator. Her office is in the attendance office. Then there are 3 deans of students, Mr. Miranda, Mr. Singleton, and Ms. Palomares. On the bottom row, you'll see Ms. Castellanos, who is a dean's assistant, Ms. Harris, who is our restorative justice coach, Mr. Ishkat, a community coordinator, and Mr. Morris, the head of security. Our deans along with our dean assistant, our community coordinator, restorative justice coach, are all in our dean's office in 168. Mr. Morris is always in the hallways supporting his security team and all of the students and staff in the building. This team is here to ensure that you can learn to prevent conflict, resolve conflict, and learn all the skills that you need to be successful members of the Curie community. If you have any questions or concerns or problems that you need help solving, please stop by the dean's office to have one of these team members support you. Next, I'm going to be going into some of those big questions students are asking at the beginning of the school year. First, student IDs. You should have received a temporary ID or an EID in an email over the weekend. You can use this EID, your actual ID if you are a 10th through 12th grader, or one of the paper IDs you got over the summer if you're a freshman. You will receive your actual ID in your second period class at the beginning of next week. If you ever lose your ID or if you need another temporary ID before then, please stop by the attendance office. Once everyone receives their hard copy ID, you will need to wear them visibly and present them when asked. Refusing to show your ID in the school building is considered a student code of conduct violation, and that can lead to consequences. We just need to make sure that everyone in the building is supposed to be in the building, and wearing your ID visibly helps us be able to determine easily whether you are supposed to be here or not. This is all to keep everyone in the building safe. The next question I get a lot is about lockers. So, everyone should have gotten an email with a locker partner choice form. Students will get an assigned locker and combination emailed to them only after you do two things. One, you submitted your family income form, and two, you filled out that locker partner choice form. Make sure you choose a partner you trust, and if you don't know if you've turned in your family income form, stop by the attendance office. They can tell you, and if you haven't, they can give you a copy to take home, and you can bring it back filled out and turn it into the attendance office. Once you have your locker, please know that lockers are a privilege. Please don't store food in your lockers. Nobody wants any kind of pests running around because we're leaving food in our lockers. Don't give your combination or access to your locker to anyone other than your partner. Locker time is during passing periods, so make sure you're making good use of your passing period time. And lockers are a privilege, and that privilege can be taken away if you're misusing the lockers. That can include storing prohibited items, patterns of loitering by those lockers, or engaging in any inappropriate behaviors by your locker. Gym lockers and uniforms are another question I get. Gym uniforms can be purchased in the main office during your lunch periods, but please know that sizes are limited. We will be ordering more. PE teachers are not requiring students to change for that first week of school, and we'll be going over all uniform policies in class with you this week. Gym lockers are a little different than regular school lockers. They do not have locks. You will need to bring your own lock so that you can lock up your belongings during PE class. They are for you to use only during your class period. Okay, so after your class period, you're going to remove your items and the lock so that the next class has access to those lockers. Leaving anything in your gym locker without a lock is really at your own risk. You may get things lost or stolen. If that happens, you can report it to the dean's office, but we are not responsible for lost or stolen items in the building. Another question that a lot of you are having are about schedules. So how do you change your schedule? First, I want you to know that counselors are going to be following the policies listed on this slide. And those policies include that schedule changes are really only made if a graduation requirement is not being met by your current schedule, or you have a IEP and you are not receiving the correct services based on that schedule. So things like lunch period, teacher, or start time changes are not going to be approved without a documented need. Some examples might be a medical note, a legal note, or like I mentioned, an IEP plan. If you feel like you do need your schedule changed, please email your counselor. They will be reviewing requests this week and next. Any approved changes will be sent to you via email. So how do you find your counselor? Well, you're assigned a counselor based on your homeroom and division number. You can find that number either on the top of your EID, it's also on your regular school ID, and you can find it in Aspen. Counselor offices are located next to lunchrooms. You can go to your counselor during your lunch. You can use this QR code to see the list of counselors by division. This is also available on our school website. I'm going to keep this slide up for a second in case you want to scan the QR code. A few notes about being in the building that are related to kind of lockers and gym lockers. Please know that once you enter a public school building, you and your belongings are subject to be searched. So this does include your school locker and gym lockers. So please be smart and do not bring prohibited items. I'm going to be going over some of those prohibited items in a few slides. This policy is in place for the safety of everyone in the building. The next set of slides is really going to be about what you're doing while you're here at school. And the most important thing is that you're coming to school and you're attending classes regularly. Because students who do so stay on track to graduate, earn higher GPAs, graduate on time without credit recovery needed, reach their post secondary goals, and really feel more connected at school. So let's talk about how do we enter the building. The doors open every day at 7 a.m. And students should be using the archer doors or those home of the condor doors from 7 a.m. until 8:45. After 8:45, the home of the condors doors close, and door 7, which is closest to the train tracks, is the late student entry. You are not allowed to bring outside food or beverage into the late entry doors. Food delivery is not allowed at any time, even from parents. And using unauthorized entry doors will result in trespassing and SEC consequences. Even helping someone else enter the building without going through security can result in consequences. Any students entering that late door are going to be required to go to 168, the dean's office, to check in before going to class. Here is a picture of our doors from above. So as you can see, door 5 or those archer doors are where you come in the morning. Door 7 is where you can come if you are late between 8:45 and 2:45. And then door 1 by the Curie Park, that is for staff and visitor entrance if your parents are coming to pick you up for early dismissal or if you have after school activities, which we'll talk about later. Please know that if you leave the building without permission and re-enter, you will be escorted to the dean's office, your parents will be called, and you will be held until the next passing period. If you repeatedly are leaving without permission and re-entering, you will be referred to attendance supports, have parents meetings scheduled, and you may receive consequences based on that student code of conduct. So please make sure once you come to the building, you stay in the building. Entering any door, you will be required to go through security. That means that you're going through that x-ray machine and the metal detector, and that you're showing your school ID. Some people think that you need to have clear backpacks. That is a myth. That was a rule a long, long time ago. It is no longer a rule. But there are things that are prohibited from being brought into the building. Most importantly, things that are absolutely not allowed will be confiscated and will not be returned. These things will also lead to consequences are any weapons, weapon-like objects, drugs, alcohol, or tobacco. Things that we will confiscate but just throw away are anything in glass containers. Those are dangerous because if they break, the sharp pieces can hurt your community members. Things that we will take, but we'll hold on to and you can come pick them up at the end of the day are things like personal sports equipment, like skateboards, basketballs, and umbrellas that maybe have pointed ends. Those kind of things, we'll collect them, but you'll be able to come pick them up at the end of the day. Finally, those big metal water bottles, we do require you to open those so that security can check them when you go through the scanner. If you have any questions about whether something is allowed to be brought to school, please ask any security guard or stop by the dean's office and they can give you more information. Next, we're going to go over some of the hallway expectations. So now that you're here at school, what are some of the rules about getting around and being on time? One thing that I really want to emphasize this year, because it's a little bit different, is what does present, tardy, or absent mean? Being present means you are on time to class, and being on time means you're in class or your assigned location when the bell rings. If you enter your class anytime after the bell rings, whether you have a pass or not, you are considered tardy. Now, we do not use just the tardies in Aspen to assign consequences. That would be the hall sweeps. So don't worry if you come to your class tardy with a pass. You will be marked tardy, but you're not going to receive a consequence because you had a pass. Now, you're going to be marked absent if you never go to class, meaning you have never walked into the class that day. Your teacher is going to mark you absent. If you have questions about your attendance, please talk to your teacher or stop by the attendance office. Now, like I said, passes are important. So students in the hallway during class periods must have a pass at all times. Please be responsible with your passes. Your teachers are going to follow the first 5, last 5, no pass zone rule, which means the first 5 minutes of class and the last 5 minutes of class, they will not give you a pass. That's so that we can make sure the hallways are clear and safe for you during passing periods. Your teachers will have color-coded passes that align to each floor. So every floor has a different colored pass. If you're using the pass to go to a different floor, your teacher will need to write a note so that security knows that you're okay to be on a different floor. I'll talk about some other types of passes like electronic passes for lunch spaces in a few slides. But you may also get a written pass from staff members that looks like the pink one in the slide. Any of these passes are valid and will mean that you are okay to be in the hallway during a class period. If, however, you are in the hallway during a class period, so that means after that second bell of the passing period rings, there are some procedures. So if you're in the hallway after that second bell without a pass during first, second, or ninth periods, you're going to get a tardy pass from one of the tardy carts. You'll scan your ID and it'll print out a tardy pass. You're going to take that tardy pass and go straight to class and give it to your teacher. Please make sure you're respectful to the adults in the hallway. They are there trying to help and make sure that you get to your classrooms and through the hallways safely. Now, if you're in the hallway after the second bell, 3rd through 8th periods, starting Wednesday, we are going to begin something called hall sweeps. Hall sweeps are on every single floor, and students in the hallway after the bell rings will be escorted to a designated hall sweep room. In that room, you'll scan your ID and be given a hall sweep pass like the one in the slide. Once hallways are cleared, you'll be escorted to your class. You'll hand that pass to your teacher. Students who are hall swept are not eligible for passes the rest of that period because you've already been late. What happens once you get that hall sweep? So first, your parents will get an automatic email that you were in a hall sweep. Starting the second week of school, students who have more than one hall sweep will start to earn what we call after-school attendance intervention time. That's when you have to go and serve an hour in the dean's office after school. You can also choose to serve it with a teacher during their office hours or tutoring sessions, but you must do one of those things. If you do not serve those after-school attendance intervention times, or some people call them detentions, you will be ineligible for events, and it can even lead to in-school suspensions. There is support available though. If you're having a hard time getting to your classes on time, check in with the attendance office or check in with the dean's office. They will be able to help set you up with things such as a check-in, check-out system or even a contract to help you keep yourself accountable. Now that you know some of the hallway procedures, another question or procedure you'll need to get used to is lunch. And you'll hear me say this a lot. Lunch is a location. So you are assigned to a lunchroom floor. If your schedule says room 1, that's the first floor, room 2, that's the second floor, room 3, that's the third floor. You are expected to be on time for lunch, and that first 5, last 5 pass rule applies to lunch too. So you should be in your lunchroom for those first 5 and last 5 minutes of the period. Students in lunchrooms are only allowed to use the restrooms that are right across from the lunchroom. So you should not be going all the way around the building to go to the bathroom. You're using those bathrooms across the hall from the lunchroom. There are vending machines by all lunchroom areas, but you should not be going from floor to floor to try to find the vending machine you like the most. You should be using the vending machine on your lunchroom floor. Also, Curie is not an open lunch, meaning you cannot leave the building during your lunch period. That is considered cutting. And I mentioned what happens when you leave the building and come back in a previous slide. It is also against school policy to sell or buy unauthorized snacks, meaning buying snacks from your classmates is a no-no. Please, if we see you selling or purchasing snacks, we will confiscate those, and you will need to pick those up at the end of the day. If it happens again, we will hold them and your parent will need to come and pick those up. So again, lunch is a location. Be on your assigned lunchroom floor during your lunch period. However, there are some other options, and those will be open next week. Let's say you don't want to be in your lunchroom. It's too noisy, or you just like to get some work done. You want to talk to you want to talk to someone about getting a job, or you want to go outside and see the sun. Those are all options. Your 4 options during lunch is your assigned lunch floor, the media center, the college career center, which is on the second floor as well, or the courtyard when the weather permits. Students can request a pass for the courtyard, media center, or college career center by going to the link or QR code on this slide. This QR code is posted throughout the building. You do need to request that pass every single day. So let's say Monday you want to go to the courtyard, you scan the QR code, choose courtyard in your lunch period, you will get an emailed pass that you can use to go to the courtyard during your lunch period. Again, you have to sign up for those passes every single day. I suggest you do it right when you walk in. If you know you always hang out with your friends in the media center during lunch, then every day when you walk in, scan that QR code so that you can get a pass to the media center. Again, these will be open next week. You should be going to your lunchroom to get your lunch before heading to any of those locations. You will not be allowed to go back to your lunch once you go into the media center, college career, or courtyard. So you've gotten to school, you've walked around the hallways, you've gotten to your lunchroom. Now what about after school? After school, only students who have night school or an after-school activity are allowed to stay in the building. Students without a ninth period or who are waiting for an activity to start during ninth period can wait for their rides or their after-school activities in the 1 West lunchroom between 2:45 and 4. Starting in September, we'll have meals being served there as well. After ninth period, if you leave the building and need to come back in, you'll have to re-enter through the main entrance door 1. That's the one nearest to the Curie Park. But those doors will close at 4:15 because by 4:15, you should already be in your after-school activity. Please know that the Student Code of Conduct applies to all after-school programs. So remember to follow the Curie way, even after school. How do you keep up to date with all this information? First, every Sunday, we'll email the Condor Pride community newsletter with school news, announcements, celebrations, and all kinds of opportunities. Please make sure you read that newsletter. Don't miss the cool opportunities that we have for our students here at Curie. Also, every day we have announcements that are shared at the end of second period over the intercom. Make sure you listen to those announcements and ask your teachers if you have questions. Finally, make sure you follow us on social media. We post a ton on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, so keep us in your feed. And when you need help, don't be afraid to ask. Ask your teachers, meet with your counselor, stop by the dean's office or the attendance office, or talk to the school administrators on your way through entry. Just don't be afraid to ask for help. There are so many people here ready and willing to help you. I appreciate you all listening to me today, but now it's our turn to listen to you. Please scan this QR code and fill out the exit ticket so I can hear more from you about what you'd like to see in terms of safety, security, culture, and climate at Curie High School. Have a great rest of your day, Condors.